Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you the incredible opportunities that you can create for yourself in your life and your business when you have a deep understanding of the 6 lines within human design, but more specifically what your 2 lines are and how that makes up your profile and how it impacts you consciously and unconsciously, and how it can really help you unmask and maybe look at different ways that you can present yourself in order to be more vibrant and more effective and more impactful within your business and your life. So my name is Abigail Rebecca. I am a human design visibility coach, and I help entrepreneurial women be more visible and confidently expressed so that they can grow their thriving business empires without the hustle. And I really love to talk about the human design profile. So let me just break it down for you. If you're relatively new to human design, you might find this useful. If you're not new to human design, you'll probably find this useful as well. Because I always talk about human design from the lens of visibility, from the lens of an entrepreneurial woman. We know that we need to be more visible within our business. We know that we need to be speaking on stages or going onto TV or appearing in magazines or going live on social media or going into network events, right? All these ways that we can show up and be more visible. But I speak to so many women all around the world who are hiding behind their brand, and they don't have the confidence and trust in themselves to go out there and be visible, or they're being visible to a certain level and they're not pushing themselves out their comfort zone. If you feel like that, if you resonate with that, if there are worries and concerns that are stopping you from going forward and being more visible, then this video is for you. And human design is really going to help you, because what human design does is it helps us come back to ourselves, our true essence. We're so conditioned to behave in a certain way, to be in a certain way in order to be successful. We have to act in a certain way. We have to have a certain amount of a certain type of energy. We need to be sociable, or we need to be rah, or we need to be this or that, right? It's so, how many of you actually can relate to that? I certainly can. In terms of like comparing yourself to others and then like not feeling good enough, like the struggle is real. Especially when we're being more visible, and maybe we're joining mastermind groups and going to networking events and networking and building relationships with other entrepreneurs, and just feeling less than or not good enough, this imposter syndrome that is real. What human design does is it teaches us and it shows us that we don't have to compare ourselves to anyone else, because we're all different and we need to be different. And actually it's that individuality that actually sets us apart from others. And once we own that and accept that, almost like we own our weirdness, then that's what sets us apart from other people. And that's what creates huge success potentially within our business and our lives. So we all have a profile within human design. There are 6 lines within human design, and we each have a profile within human design that are made up of 2 of those lines. And 1 line within our profile is our conscious perception, so how we see ourselves. And then our 2nd line within our profile is our unconscious, so how other people see us. So immediately human design is pointing out our blind spots. The way that we think that we are perceived in the world is very often not how we're perceived in the world. So human design opens the doors to that, so that we can understand that how we see ourselves is not necessarily how others see ourselves. And that in itself provides lots of different opportunities, right? Because it might be like opportunities for us to develop, for us to grow. Or it might be opportunities for us to actually step into our power, because it might be that we're feeling less than, or not very inspiring, or not like an expert in an area, but actually other people see us differently, and we are incredibly inspiring and we are an expert in that area, in which case it's time for us to step into our true power and be able to express ourselves in that way. I just love human design so much because it creates all these opportunities for us. But what I wanted to talk about today are the 6 lines. So there are 6 lines within human design. You have 2 of them. But it's also, I think, really interesting to learn about these lines because each line carries a distinct and potent frequency, a code. We are coded to be a certain way, to present ourselves in a certain way. And when we are aligned to these codes, like when we unlock the codes, when we're aligned to the codes, when we receive the codes, i.e. when we accept who we truly are, instead of trying to be like someone else, then what that can do is that can truly amplify our gifts and our talents and illuminate our visibility. But what happens very often, especially as women, because we've been brought up in a particular way, with a role to play within society as a woman, with a particular set of expectations that are given to us, beautifully gifted to us, with all the best intention in the world by our parents and by society and by other adults that are part of that whole, role of bringing us up and raising us from children. We can actually ignore the lines within our human design and our human design profile and go out into the world as a completely different person. The masking, the pretending to be someone that actually we're not, because we think that that's the only way that we're going to be successful. That's the only way that we're going to be respected. That's the only way that we're ever going to find a life partner. That's the only way that we're going to be able to build a business and people are going to pay us money. That's the only way that we're going to be able to make friends. So very often we can be out in this world masking, and there's 2 types of masking that I'm going to talk into specifically within this. So there's the masking that we're conscious of, i.e. we know that we're not like that, but we're presenting ourselves in a certain way because we feel that we don't have a choice. So I can definitely relate to that from when I was working in corporate, where I would go into corporate and I would mask, I would act a certain way and be a certain way because I knew that that was the only way really that I could be successful within my corporate career and I could be promoted. And certainly the culture within that industry supported that and amplified that. But actually I wasn't like that, and I'd go to work and I'd be a certain person and I'd come home and be a certain person. I'd even dress differently. In corporate I'd wear power suits, and then when I was at home I'd wear denim cut off jeans and flip-flops. So we can either be doing it consciously or we can be doing it unconsciously. We have absolutely no idea who we are. And we're just like going ahead, being busy, feeling that there's something not quite right and something's not quite right here, but just completely like numbing it down with busy activities, overworking, or using other modalities to kind of like numb our feelings, and not really knowing who we are and not discovering who we are. And that's why very often when we can go on this journey of self-discovery and self-improvement, it can be very liberating, absolutely. And it's always very liberating, but it can also be very challenging and very scary, because actually once we really start to get to know each other, we understand that we're not actually who we are, and potentially we've been living a life for all of our life, or we've been pretending to be someone that we're not. So when we are masking, when we are wearing outfits that, that don't belong to us, I like to use this analogy because I am a trained personal stylist. You know, if I'm wearing like an outfit that isn't me, and I just go through life wearing this outfit, instead of like really trying on outfits and wearing outfits that are more aligned to me, sometimes you just go through these life like wearing these outfits and they're not actually us. You're trying on these roles, you're putting on these masks, and it's not actually us. So what human design, first of all, it does is it allows us to actually look into who we actually are, what our role in this life is, what our purpose is, how our energy interacts with the world, and that really helps us to be able to build relationships. But it also, you know, in terms of visibility, it also really helps us to be able to come back to that self-love and self-acceptance and that self-trust, which is so important for us to go out and be visible. Because if we don't trust ourselves, how on earth is anyone else going to trust us to guide them through a process and lead them through a process? So human design helps to do that. It helps you to really understand who you are, and then it helps you to be able to tap into the energy of who you are, i.e. the codes. Unlock the codes within your human design and within yourself so that you're going to be able to express yourself in a more authentic way and show up in line and in person as authentically you, not a representation of yourself that you think will help you get more clients or will create more success or will make you more likable or that will make you more money. So let me use an example of this, because one of the lines within human design is the line 2, and it's referred to as the hermit line. Now, this doesn't mean that if you're a hermit that you are designed to go and live in a cave for the rest of your life. But what it does mean is that it's really important for you to go and have some time on your own. Whereas with other human design types and profiles, it might be really draining for us to be on our own. With a hermit, it actually gives you energy. So it's really, really important that you honor that and that you give yourself time alone so that you can have that energy, you can recharge your batteries, and then you can come back into society and play your role in society. Now, I had a client who throughout her life felt that she wanted to be on her own at certain times. She felt this real draw to be on her own, but actually she felt weird. She thought it made her weird because she was like, I want to be on my own. Does that mean that I am a loner, that I'm not a social person, that I'm not good in social situations? And it really made her doubt herself and think that she was a bit weird. So what she did is she used to fight against it all the time. She'd be super sociable all the time, a real extrovert. She'd be like at all the parties, she'd be there. She was working against herself. She was working against her natural energy. She was masking. And it was making her miserable, and it was making her burnt out and exhausted because she was working against her natural tendencies. So this is what happened when she started to work with me and learn more about her human design. She started to realize that this actually was something that she needed. It would feed her soul, and actually she wasn't weird. It was just part of her design. She needed to do it. And I remember her coming to one of my events. It was a 3-day event. It was a beautiful retreat. And she came to one of my events and we had a conversation, and I said to her, I said, look, you have a line 2 in your human design, which means that you can't be with us all of the time because it's not going to be good for you. You're not going to be in your juicy abundance. If you are like trying to be the social butterfly and trying to be with all these people all of the time, you need to gift yourself time on your own. So you need to create that time and carve that space out for yourself throughout this whole agenda of this 3-day retreat, and go and take yourself off on your own. And that's what she did. She'd take herself off to her room. or she'd go for a walk, but she'd take herself away from the community within the retreat, fill up her cup, feed her soul, re-energize herself, and then she would come back. And she would be in this incredible environment again with this incredible energy that she'd created through going away. Now, if she hadn't have done that, it wouldn't have been a magic event for her, because she would have been kind of resisting that, which means that she wouldn't have got the best out of it, because she wouldn't have been showing up as her best self. And she now creates that within her life. She creates that within her business. She also runs her own events and her own retreats, but she carves out that time to be on her own. And she also clearly communicates it with her family, her friends, her clients. She's like, hey, I'm a hermit in human design. You know what that means? It means I need to go and like be on my own for a bit. And it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I don't like to hang out with you. It just means that I need to go away and feed my soul. How valuable is that to her? As an entrepreneurial woman, how valuable is that to her as a business owner, that she knows that about herself now and she accepts it and she loves it? And I hear so many stories from different women that have the same experiences when they've learned about their line in human design. You know, I can use myself as an example as well. I'm a line 4. I'm an opportunist. I get my opportunities through other people. One of the things that I learned within my line 4 human design is that I'm not designed to sell to strangers. And if you followed me for a while, you'd heard me tell the story that I invested thousands and thousands of pounds when I first started my business in communities, working with coaches, on masterminds, programs, with the best intention of the world, that were teaching me how to sell to strangers. And then I was like not enjoying it, but beating myself up, because I just thought, well, this is what I need to do to build a business. Every soul of my body was like, no, this doesn't feel right. I'm not enjoying it. It doesn't feel right. It feels salesy. It feels like physically, it feels awful. But I was resisting that. I was masking. So I was presenting myself as someone who, you know, is like a badass freaking business coach, and, you know, reaching out to people and like being, hey, you want to work with me? And actually, underneath all of that, I was fucking hating it. I really, really hated it. When I found out about my human design, I realized I'm not designed to do that. I'm designed to sell to people that know me. So I'm designed to build communities. People need to get to know me before they buy from me. I know that, I honor that. I'm not beating myself up anymore. I'm not comparing myself to a human design line 5 over there that might have the ability to be able to do that. I'm not comparing myself to her. I'm accepting myself. I'm like, right, okay, that has completely changed the way that I go about my business. Not only within my business, but also my life. I know that, you know, some people aren't going to resonate with me straight away, or some people aren't going to resonate with me at all, and that's absolutely fine. I don't take it personally. It's just part of my design. So, how incredible is it that we have this resource to be able to tap into, for you to be able to learn about yourself, the way that you interact with the world, the way that you can build your business, the way that you can raise your credibility, the way that you can be more visible and confidently expressed as you are going about in your business and your life. So I wanted to create an opportunity for you to learn more about this and to have some real deep understanding about it. So on Monday, I'm going to be hosting a live event. It's called Manifest the Human Design Visibility Codes, and it's the visibility codes that lie within your line within human design. And I can guarantee you that if you come in with a full heart and pay attention and be visible within that group, that you will leave with tangible steps and a better understanding of yourself in order for you to go out there and be more visible. Stop fighting against yourself. Stop fighting against your natural tendencies just because you feel that you have to be a certain way in order to create a successful business and create freedom in your life. You don't have to be like that at all. You just have to be yourself. Accept yourself, love yourself. Believe you me, it's far more joyful when you do it in that way. It's easier. It doesn't feel like hustle and grind and hard work. It just feels easy and so beautiful. And the opportunities will flow into you because actually, maybe, for the first time ever in your business, you're showing up as authentically you instead of pretending to be that person over there. So I'm going to share the details with you below. Obviously, if you're watching this live or you're watching it within the next couple of days that I've recorded this will be relevant to you. If you're watching a replay like in 4 weeks time, then the event will actually have taken place. So I will send you the link to I don't know whether it's going to be a replay but there'll be something anyway underneath that you'll be able to look at, that you'll be able to join. Or you can always go on to my website, abigailrebecca.com, and you'll be able to see details of more events there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing the energy. Look forward to seeing you on the event. So again, it's a free event, it's a masterclass, and it's going to be happening next Monday, which is Monday I'm losing track of my days. Oh my goodness, the 4th of September. It's going to be the 4th of September or September the 4th. Can you believe that we're in September already? What on earth is going on? I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.